Hello everyone, today I will introduce the PSG9080 programmable function/arbitrary waveform signal generator to you. First turn on the instrument, enter the language selection interface, select the English system. You can see the screen is a 3.5-inch color screen. On the screen, these are the parameters of Channel 1, Channel 2, waveform, frequency, amplitude, offset, duty cycle, and phase. In addition, here are the operating buttons of the instrument, system settings, modulation functions, measurement functions, load and save functions, and function switching keys. Sweep function, external input signal voltage control sweep function, programmable function, channel 1 signal output switch, channel 2 signal output switch, signal output master switch, the knob, numeric keyboard. There are 4 connectors here: external modulation signal input connector, external signal input connector, channel 1 signal output connector, channel 2 TWO signal output connector. Next, I will show you the dual channel waveform display. PSG9080 has 22 built-in wave numbers from 00 to 21, and the 2 channels output completely independently. To adjust the channel 1 waveform. Now switch to the CH2 to adjust the channel 2 waveform. Next, I will demonstrate the basic operation of the instrument. Sine wave display. Set sine wave frequency, the range is 0 Hz 80 MHz, set amplitude, the range is 0 to 25 VPP. The amplitude range is affected by frequency and offset. Set sine wave offset, the range is -9.99 V to 15 V, the duty cycle of the sine wave is not adjustable. Square wave display, set frequency, the range is 0 Hz to 30 MHz. Next, I will show you the triangle wave, ramp, comms wave and DC level. First, switch the waveform to the triangle wave, adjust the frequency and amplitude of the triangle wave, and observe the waveform through the oscilloscope. Switch the waveform to the ramp and adjust the duty cycle and offset of the ramp. It can be seen that when the duty cycle is changed, the amplitude of the ramp waveform changes relatively large. Switch the waveform to the comms wave and adjust the amplitude of the comms wave. You can see that the waveform of the comms changes with the amplitude. Switch the waveform to DC level. You can clearly observe the amplitude, duty cycle, and phase are all grayed out on the screen, which means it is not adjustable. Adjust the offset of the DC level, and you can observe the change of the waveform through the oscilloscope. Press the SYS key to enter the system setting interface, press the up and down soft keys to select the corresponding system settings, and press the page soft key to enter the next page of the system settings. Press the mod key to enter the modulation function interface. First, press the type soft key to select the type, and select the amplitude modulation function by adjusting the knob. The modulation depth range is from 0% to 200%. By changing the modulation depth of the modulation wave, you can see the waveform change of the modulating wave. Switch to the FM function. You can see the FM waveform. Switch to the PM function. The range of phase deviation is 0.0 degree to 359.9 degrees. By changing the phase deviation, observe the change of the waveform. Switch to the ask function. the range of ask amplitude is 0% to 200%, by changing the ask amplitude, observe the waveform change. Switch to the FSK function, you can see the waveform of the FSK. Switch to the PSK function, the PSK phase range is 0.0 degree to 359.9 degrees, by changing the PSK phase, you can clearly observe the waveform changes. Switch to the pulse function, pulse width is 0.01 us to 40s, pulse period is 0.001 us to 4s, change pulse width and pulse period to observe the waveform changes. In the pulse function, set the wave inversion, and select normal and inversion. Switch to burst function, idle can be set to 0, positive maximum and negative maximum, single trigger soft key to output signal, trigger source can be selected key trigger, internal trigger, external AC trigger and external DC trigger, the range of pulse number is 1 to 1 billion, set the number of pulses to 7, press the key to trigger and observe the waveform. Next, I will show you the sweep function. The start frequency, end frequency, sweep time, and sweep mode can be set. We can see the changes of the waveform in the oscilloscope. Switch to the sweep amplitude function, you can see that the amplitude of the waveform changes. Switch the waveform to pulse wave, enter the sweep duty cycle function in the sweep function, and the duty cycle of the waveform changes. Next, I will show you the programming function of PSG9080. Save 100 kHz, 1 VPP sine wave in location M00. (200 kHz), 2 VPP square wave in location M01. 300 kHz, 3 VPP triangle wave in location M02. (400 kHz, 4 VPP POS ladder in location M03). And then press the FNUC key to enter the programming mode. In the programming mode interface, you can set the loading storage location, running time, go to and loop times. After setting, press the Run Soft key to start running, and observe the waveform changes through the oscilloscope. Now, I will introduce the external input signal voltage control function. First, use the CH1 channel of the JDS6600 signal generator to output a 10 kHz, 5 VPP DC level signal, and connect the CH1 interface of the JDS6600 and the mod of the PSG9080 through the BNC test lead. Press VOC to enter the voltage control function interface, set the offset of the DC level to 0.5 V, press the measurement soft key to calibrate the minimum voltage. When the DC level is set to 4.5 V, press the measurement soft key to calibrate the maximum voltage. Press the soft key on to start voltage control. By changing the offset of the DC level, you can see the change of the waveform frequency. Then switch to the amplitude control function, adjust the offset of the DC level, and you can see the change of the waveform amplitude. Switch the waveform of the CH1 channel to pulse wave, enter the voltage control duty cycle function, adjust the DC level to observe the waveform change. Next, I will introduce you the measurement and counter functions. A signal is output from JDS6600 and connected to the EXT port of PSG9080. Press the MES key to enter the measurement function. You can see the measured frequency, positive pulse width, negative pulse width, period, and duty cycle. Press the Count soft key to switch to the counter function and press the soft key to start counting. Thank you for watching.